small. If you haven't done it before and it's new to you, start with something small. But you know what? Actually, that doesn't float our boat for some of us, does it? Starting small and buying little buy-to-lets and stuff that's going to make us 100 quid a month. You go, really? Because now we know that there are bigger stuff to do. And Jane and Joe are going to tell us about commercial properties. I can tell you about the amassing of 27 HMOs, all of which provide about £1,000 net a month. And more importantly, only one of them was done entirely with my money. The rest weren't done with my money. Would you like to know how to do that? Yes? Yes? Right, it's all done by using investors. One of the reasons is because if I want more than 2 or 3 mortgages in a year, I'm going to struggle, aren't I? And so I have to use other people who can get mortgages. Oh, and if I take a mortgage, I've got to provide the deposit. Or if you get the mortgage, you've got to provide the deposit. Is that right? Yeah, that's the legal way of doing it. So what we do is, we have the investor have the mortgage and pay the deposit. That's legal. They buy the house. And you're going, well, hang on a minute, it's not your house anymore. I say, interesting. So I take a deed of trust, which is equal ownership, and then they pay for the works as well. Now we're talking, aren't we? So it doesn't actually matter whether my house costs 100,000 or 350,000. Okay? So that's how it's set up. Now, I'm the one with the expertise that can renovate the house and make sure it's got 5 or 6 rooms. And not only that, but make sure that they are rented out all the time. I've got 2 lease optioned HMOs because somebody who'd made them too posh for the area and didn't have an idea about sales and marketing couldn't get them rented out. So they were making him minus £300 a month because he's going to pay the mortgage. So we agreed lease option deals where we agreed we'd buy them in 5 years' time for a price agreed now, and we would rent them out, give him the mortgage cost and 100 quid extra, so he's now making £100 a month on on each of the properties, and we're making about £1,200 net on each of the properties. Now that's a good deal, right? So you need to make sure they're rented out and managed properly. We have a 97% full rate in 120 rooms. That's pretty high. So we can do it again and again and again, because I can do that and repeat it as often as I can find investors to invest in those properties. We split the profit from the rental from day one, so that's £500 in their pocket, £500 in my pocket, and if we remortgage down the line, then after they've had all of their money back, then we will split the equity, because that's fair, isn't it? Yeah? So they feel confident, they're happy to invest with us, and I have lots of these investor partners. So that works. I'd like you to remember how to negotiate, how to build your team, how to double your money, and most importantly, how to go for the big stuff, because it's far easier to fund than the little stuff. And that's why I say, don't sweat the big stuff. Thank you.
Right, now, you buy a cake for £10, you cut it into 10 slices, you then charge £2 a slice. You force the value up of the same product, so you're getting 100% on it. That's what we do with property. We buy the property as one piece, then we divide it into different flats, either keeping commercial and residential, and that's how we force the value up.
So, John Street. We went to court down in Bristol, challenge a parking ticket, and we won. And when we came out, we thought, let's go and get a cup of coffee. So what's the quickest way to get across the centre to Nero's, Starbucks at the time? So we cut through this little side street, which we'd never even walked through before. We came across, as we walked through, that property there, with the most faded for sale sign you have ever seen in the window. And Joe said, that looks interesting. What's that all about then? So we phoned them up, we went to do a viewing. And it was Next Travel Agents. And when we went there to do the viewing, there were secretaries and staff running from the basement there, all the way up a little narrow, windy staircase up to the attic rooms at the top, and all the way back down again. Because you see, the whole of that building probably isn't hugely much bigger than this room. And it was so obvious that it just wasn't fit for modern office purposes. It just wasn't fit for purpose anymore. And because of that, it'd been on the market for 2 years. They couldn't sell it. And to this day, we don't understand why nobody else saw the potential in it. It's a Grade 2 listed building, because everything we work on is Grade 2 listed, more or less. We don't go out looking for Grade 2, they just seem to happen to always be Grade 2. So that was the property that we bought. Because it had been on the market for so long, an office building nobody wanted or anything, we actually bought it for 205,000. And this is just around the corner from, just off of Broad Street. So, bought the whole freehold, which put into a company, cut the building into slices of cake and made 4 flats. So there's 1 bed, 1 bed, 1 bed, and that one there links with the basement flat there. It's only a small building, just needed soundproofing in between the floors there, bit of external wall insulation on the outside, it's in a terrace, so it's really quite minimal work there. We actually only spent 82,000 doing the whole project. So the total outgoing cost is 298,000 in total. Our 4 slices of the cake were valued separately, and the total of all of it came to 605,000. We then took out Birmingham Midshires mortgages, 80%, releasing 411,000. Those are the rents there, totaling 2,225, and the mortgages total 1,199. So what does this all mean? After the initial purchase has been paid back, after all the work's been paid off, there's 112,000 left over, which goes in your pocket, tax-free, because it's a loan. I like that.